Have you ever felt like you were meant for something bigger? That no matter how tough life gets, there's a deeper purpose, a divine plan unfolding just for you? Well, let me tell you something incredible. Heaven is celebrating your faith right now. Yes, you heard that right. Your belief, your perseverance, your trust in the unseen is creating a ripple of joy in the heavens. But here's the thing, the journey isn't always easy. Doubt creeps in, life throws curveballs, and it's hard to keep believing when things get tough. But that's when your faith matters the most. So if you're ready to feel inspired, motivated, and reminded of your divine purpose, stick around. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our amazing community where we celebrate faith, growth, and strength every day. And hey, drop a comment below and let us know. What's one moment where your faith made all the difference? Let's get this conversation started. You may not realize it, but you were chosen for this exact moment in time. It's not a coincidence that you're here, alive, navigating this very world with all its challenges and triumphs. There's a purpose, a reason, a divine intention behind your existence. You were meant to be here, right now, because no one else could fulfill the role you were uniquely designed to play. To be chosen in a spiritual sense means you are an integral part of something far greater than yourself. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's not about being extraordinary by the world's standards. Being chosen means you are seen, known, and loved by the Creator of the universe. It means there's a divine plan in motion, and you are a vital piece of the puzzle. Think about that for a moment. In a world with billions of people, you are not here by accident. You carry within you a set of gifts, talents, and experiences that no one else has. You are wired in a way that no one else is. Your story, your struggles, your victories, they're all part of a tapestry that's being woven together for something much larger than you can imagine. And here's the most beautiful part. Your existence was intentional. Out of all the possibilities, you were called into being. Now you might be thinking, me, chosen, how could that be? My life doesn't feel particularly extraordinary. But here's the truth. Being chosen doesn't mean you won't face difficulties. In fact, it often means the opposite. Being chosen often comes with a journey, one filled with moments of doubt, fear, and even pain. But these moments are not meant to break you. They are meant to shape you. They refine you, preparing you for the role you were born to play. When you look at the stories of people who have changed the world, there's a common thread. They all faced adversity. They all had moments where they questioned their path, where they wondered if they were enough. But they pressed on because something inside them, something divine, reminded them that they were called for more. And the same is true for you. You were chosen because there is something only you can contribute. It might be your voice, your kindness, your creativity, or even your resilience. Maybe it's the way you inspire others with your courage, or perhaps it's the way you quietly make a difference in the lives of those around you. Whatever it is, it's yours, and it's needed. Your role in this divine plan might not always be clear. There will be times when you feel lost or unsure of your purpose, but even in those moments, you are still chosen. The confusion, the waiting, the struggle, it's all part of the process. Like a masterpiece in progress, there are stages where things might look messy or incomplete, but every brushstroke, every detail, is contributing to the bigger picture. And when that picture is complete, it will be more beautiful than you can imagine. So what does it mean to embrace being chosen? It means stepping into each day with the understanding that your life has meaning. It means trusting that even when the road is hard, you are not walking it alone. It means recognizing that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others or by your own self-doubt. Your worth was established the moment you were created. You were chosen to love and to be loved. You were chosen to bring light into a world that can often feel dark. You were chosen to be a beacon of hope, a source of strength, and a vessel of grace. You were chosen to leave an imprint on this world that no one else can leave. It doesn't matter where you've been, what mistakes you've made, or how many times you've fallen. What matters is that you get back up and keep moving forward. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, that's proof that your story isn't over. There is more for you, more to experience, more to give, more to become. You are divinely chosen. You are part of a plan that is bigger than anything you could ever dream. And whether you realize it or not, you're already making an impact. Every kind word, every act of compassion, every time you choose love over hate, hope over despair, and faith over fear, you are fulfilling your purpose. So keep going, keep believing, keep trusting that you were made for this moment, because you were. You were chosen for such a time as this. Every act of faith you take sends ripples through heaven, sparking celebration and praise. Imagine this for a moment, a realm filled with light so radiant it feels alive, a place where the air hums with joy and the very atmosphere vibrates with love. That's heaven, a place where your smallest steps of faith are noticed, cherished, and celebrated. Heaven doesn't just watch you passively, it leans in with anticipation, waiting for you to take that next brave step. Every time you choose faith over fear, love over hate, and hope over despair, it's as if heaven itself erupts into applause. The angels, the saints, even the Creator of all things, rejoicing because you chose to believe. Luke 15:7 paints this picture perfectly. I tell you, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. Think about that. One act of repentance, one moment of turning back toward God, is enough to ignite a celebration in heaven. Not just acknowledgement, not just a polite nod, celebration. Heaven rejoices over you, not for perfection or achievements, but for the simple, profound act of choosing faith. This isn't about grand, headline-worthy moments of heroism or monumental decisions that change the course of history, though those matter too. It's about the small, quiet choices you make every single day. When you decide to forgive instead of holding on to anger, when you reach out with kindness to someone who's hurting, when you press on despite feeling weary, those moments are seen, valued, and celebrated. Picture a ripple in a still lake. That's what your faith does. Every choice to trust in God, every prayer you whisper, every act of love, it sends waves outward, touching not only the hearts of those around you, but reaching all the way to heaven. Your faith is not just personal, it's cosmic. It resonates beyond this physical world, shaking the heavens with its power and beauty. And here's the extraordinary thing. It's not just the big victories that matter. Heaven celebrates the moments when you simply keep going. On the days when life feels heavy and your faith feels fragile, even then, when you choose to believe, even just a little, heaven cheers for you. Your perseverance, your willingness to trust when it's hard, carries more weight than you realize. Have you ever stopped to think about how deeply you're loved? Not in some abstract, distant way, but in a way that's real and personal. Heaven doesn't just see the polished, Instagram-worthy parts of your life. It sees you, every flaw, every failure, every fear, and celebrates not in spite of those things, but because through it all, you keep choosing to move toward God. When you fall and get back up, heaven rejoices. When you step out in faith, even when you're unsure of the outcome, heaven is watching with excitement. And when you overcome darkness with light, even in the smallest ways, heaven celebrates with a joy that's beyond anything we can imagine. This isn't about earning favor or proving your worth. It's about understanding that your faith, no matter how small or imperfect, matters on a divine level. You are part of a story that is so much bigger than yourself, a story that reaches into eternity. Every decision you make to trust God, every time you choose love, every moment you align your heart with His, you are aligning with heaven's purpose, and heaven celebrates that. So the next time you feel insignificant or wonder if your faith really matters, remember this: heaven is watching, not with judgment, but with overwhelming love. Heaven is cheering you on, celebrating your victories, and lifting you up when you feel weak. You are not alone. Your life, your faith, your choices, they echo through eternity. Heaven is celebrating you. Faith in action is one of the most extraordinary forces in the world. It's not just a feeling or an abstract concept. It's alive, dynamic, and transformative. It has the power to take something small and turn it into something unimaginable, to bring light to the darkest moments, and to change lives in ways we often don't see coming. There's something incredible about the way even the smallest acts of faith can create ripple effects. Think about the story of the mustard seed in Matthew 17:20. Jesus said that if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. A mustard seed is tiny, barely visible in the palm of your hand, but its potential is massive. When planted, it grows into something strong and expansive, something that provides shelter and sustenance. That's what faith does. Even the tiniest step of belief can lead to miracles. History and everyday life are filled with stories of people who saw their faith in action transform their circumstances. Take the story of a single mother struggling to make ends meet. She prays for provision, not knowing where her next meal will come from. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a neighbor brings her groceries, or an opportunity arises that she never expected. Was it coincidence? Maybe. But faith tells us it was something more, a divine hand moving in response to her belief. Or think about someone facing an impossible diagnosis. The odds are stacked against them, yet they hold on to faith. They choose to believe in healing, to fight, to hope, and against all expectations, they recover. Was it purely medical? Science might explain it, but faith sees it as a miracle, a tangible result of trust and perseverance. These aren't just feel-good stories, they're real-life examples of faith in action. And while they may seem extraordinary, they start with something so simple: belief. The belief that even in the face of uncertainty, something greater is at work. The belief that your actions, fueled by faith, can change the trajectory of your life. Now, take a moment to reflect on your own life. Think about the times when faith made a difference for you. Maybe it was that moment you held on just a little longer, when everything in you wanted to give up. Maybe it was that time you stepped out in courage, taking a job, starting a new relationship, or pursuing a dream, without knowing what the outcome would be. Maybe it was a prayer you whispered in desperation, not knowing if it would be answered, and yet something shifted. Faith doesn't always mean immediate answers or obvious results. Sometimes faith is what carries you through the storm when you don't see a way out. It's the belief that there is purpose in the struggle, that you are being shaped and prepared for something greater. It's what fuels perseverance, what keeps you moving forward when everything inside you says to stop. And that's the beauty of faith. It works in the quiet, unseen moments, just as much as in the big, dramatic ones. It's the steady heartbeat that keeps you going, the anchor that holds you firm when the waves get rough. And when you act on that faith, when you take even the smallest step forward, you open the door for incredible things to happen. Faith in action isn't about having everything figured out. It's about trusting even when you don't see the full picture. It's about planting that seed, even if you're not sure when or how it will grow. It's about believing that your efforts, guided by faith, can make a difference, not just in your life, but in the lives of those around you. Every act of faith, no matter how small, has the potential to create something extraordinary. It fuels perseverance when you feel like giving up. It sparks hope in moments of doubt. It reminds you that you're never alone and that there's a greater plan at work, even when you can't see it. So, where can you take a step of faith today? Where can you choose to believe, to act, to trust? Maybe it's in your relationships, your career, your health, or a dream that's been quietly stirring in your heart. Whatever it is, know this: your faith matters. It's powerful. And when you put it into action, you become part of something so much bigger than yourself. Faith in action isn't just about what you see, it's about what's possible. You're not alone. Even in the moments when life feels overwhelming, when the weight of the world seems too heavy to carry, and when it feels like no one truly understands what you're going through, God walks with you. You may not always feel His presence, but He is there, closer than you can imagine, guiding you, comforting you, and holding you steady. It's so easy to feel abandoned during the hard times, isn't it? When the answers don't come as quickly as you hoped, when the prayers feel like they're met with silence, when the struggle seems endless, it's natural to wonder if God is still there. But here's the truth: God never leaves. He promised, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." Deuteronomy 31:6. That's not just a comforting thought. It's a divine promise that you can hold on to with everything you've got. There's a powerful reassurance in knowing that no matter what you face, you are not walking through it alone. The Creator of the universe, the one who knows every star in the sky and every hair on your head, is right there with you. He sees your tears, hears your prayers, and understands your pain even when no one else does. And not only does He see and hear, He cares deeply. He walks with you through every valley, stands with you on every mountaintop, and carries you when you're too weak to take another step. Life isn't always easy, and faith doesn't mean you'll be shielded from challenges. But what it does mean is that you never have to face those challenges on your own. In Psalm 23, David writes, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." That's the beauty of God's presence. It brings peace, even in the darkest valleys. It reminds you that you are not abandoned, that you are never walking through the hard times without divine support. Heaven celebrates your faith because you're choosing to believe in His presence and promises, even when the road is hard. Every time you say, "I trust you, God," even through tears, heaven rejoices. Every time you choose to hold on to hope when circumstances are pulling you toward despair, heaven celebrates your courage. And every time you remind yourself that you're not alone, even when it feels like you are, heaven is cheering you on. Think about it. There's never been a moment when God wasn't with you. In your happiest days, He celebrated with you. In your lowest moments, He was the one holding you up. When you felt unseen, He saw you. When you felt unheard, He was already working behind the scenes. When you felt like giving up, He was there, whispering, "Keep going. I'm with you." Sometimes His presence shows up in unexpected ways. Maybe it's through the comforting words of a friend, a song that speaks to your heart, or a quiet peace that settles over you when you least expect it. These aren't coincidences. They're reminders that He's walking beside you, guiding you and loving you every step of the way. And here's the most beautiful thing. You don't have to have it all together for God to walk with you. He doesn't wait for you to be perfect or to have all the answers. He meets you exactly where you are, broken, messy, uncertain, and He stays. His love is unconditional, His grace is endless, and His presence is unwavering. So no matter where you are right now, Whether you're on the mountaintop or in the valley, know that God is with you. When you feel strong, He's walking beside you. When you feel weak, He's carrying you. When you're lost, He's guiding you. And when you feel forgotten, He's reminding you that you are deeply loved and never alone. You were never meant to walk this journey by yourself. God's presence is your constant companion, your shelter in the storm, your light in the darkness. And when you lean into that truth, when you embrace the reality that He is with you in every moment, it changes everything. You can face the challenges with courage, persevere through the trials with hope, and live each day with the assurance that you are never, ever alone. Doubt. It's something we've all faced, no matter how strong our faith might be. There are moments when life feels uncertain, when prayers seem unanswered, and when it's hard to believe that everything will work out. These are the times when faith is tested, and it can feel like you're standing in the middle of a storm, desperately searching for something to hold on to. But here's the truth. Doubt doesn't mean you've failed. It's a part of the journey, a natural part of being human. What matters is how you respond to it, how you overcome it, and find your way back to the solid ground of faith. When doubt creeps in, the first thing to remember is that it's okay to feel unsure. Faith isn't about never questioning. It's about choosing to trust even when the answers aren't clear. In fact, some of the strongest, most unshakable faith comes from walking through seasons of doubt and coming out the other side. Those moments of uncertainty are opportunities for growth, for leaning in closer to God, and for discovering a deeper, more resilient trust. One of the most powerful ways to stay grounded during these times is through prayer and meditation. Prayer isn't just about asking for what you need. It's about creating a space to connect with God, to lay your burdens at His feet, and to listen for His guidance. Even when the words don't come easily, even when your heart feels heavy, simply showing up in prayer is an act of faith. Meditation, on the other hand, allows you to quiet the noise of doubt and focus on God's presence. It's in these still moments that you can hear His gentle whispers, reminding you that He's with you and that you are not alone. Another way to stay strong in the face of doubt is to surround yourself with an uplifting community. The people you allow into your life can either build you up or pull you down. Seek out those who encourage your faith, who remind you of God's promises, and who stand with you when you're feeling weak. Whether it's a small group at church, a circle of friends who share your values, or even an online community of believers, these relationships can serve as a lifeline when doubt threatens to overwhelm you. Sometimes just hearing someone else's story of faith can reignite your own. Journaling can also be a powerful tool for overcoming doubt. Take time to write down moments of gratitude, answered prayers, and ways you've seen God's hand in your life. When you're in the thick of uncertainty, it's easy to forget the ways He's shown up for you before. But keeping a record of those moments allows you to look back and be reminded of His faithfulness. It's a tangible way to see that even when things felt impossible, God was working behind the scenes, orchestrating something greater than you could have imagined. And here's something that's often overlooked. Give yourself grace. It's okay to feel tired, to have questions, and to wrestle with your faith. These moments don't disqualify you, they refine you. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, to build a deeper foundation of trust, and to draw closer to God. The Bible is filled with stories of people who struggled with doubt: Moses, Elijah, even the disciples who walked with Jesus. Yet in their weakness, God's strength was revealed. Your doubts don't separate you from Him. They're an invitation to lean in and let Him show you how faithful He truly is. When you find yourself questioning, remember that doubt doesn't have to be the end of your faith journey. It can be a turning point, a chance to dig deeper and discover a faith that is more unshakable than you ever thought possible. It's not about never faltering. It's about choosing to keep going, to take one small step of trust at a time, even when the road ahead is unclear. So, what can you do today to overcome doubt? Maybe it's setting aside a few minutes for prayer, even if your heart feels heavy. Maybe it's reaching out to a friend who uplifts you, or cracking open that journal and writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's simply reminding yourself that you are loved, seen, and never abandoned, even in the midst of uncertainty. Every challenge you face is shaping you into who you were created to be, and every time you choose to trust, no matter how small that choice feels, you are growing stronger in faith. Keep going, keep believing. You are not alone, and your story is far from over. Staying faithful is a journey, one that often requires perseverance, trust, and a belief in things we can't always see. But the beauty of faithfulness is this: it's never in vain. Every act of faith, every step of obedience, and every moment of trust in God leads to blessings that far surpass anything we could imagine. And those blessings aren't just waiting for us in eternity, they begin right here, right now, in the way we experience joy, peace, and purpose in our daily lives. When we think of heaven's rewards, it's easy to picture streets of gold, unending beauty, and the promise of eternal life with God. And while those things are part of the incredible gift we're promised, the real treasure of heaven lies in something far greater, an unbroken relationship with the Creator of the universe. Can you imagine what it will feel like to stand in His presence, to hear Him say, "Well done, good and faithful servant"? Matthew 25:21. To know that every trial, every sacrifice, and every moment of faithfulness has brought you to a place of eternal love and belonging. That is the ultimate reward. But God's rewards for the faithful aren't just reserved for the afterlife. They start right now, in the way faith transforms how we experience this life. Living faithfully brings a deep sense of joy and peace that isn't dependent on circumstances. It's the kind of peace that allows you to stand firm even when the world feels chaotic. It's the joy that fills your heart, even in the face of challenges, because you know you're walking in God's purpose for your life. When you choose faithfulness, you're aligning yourself with God's perfect plan, and that alignment brings blessings that ripple through every aspect of your life. It might look like restored relationships, a deeper sense of purpose, or an unshakable confidence that no matter what happens, you're being held in His hands. Faithfulness invites God's presence into your life in a tangible way, and that presence is the source of true peace and fulfillment. But let's be honest, staying faithful isn't always easy. There are moments when it feels like your efforts go unnoticed, like your prayers are unanswered, or like the road is too hard to keep walking. It's in those moments that it's so important to remember the promise of Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. God sees every act of faithfulness, no matter how small, and He promises that it will not go unrewarded. And those rewards aren't just for you, they extend to the people around you. Your faithfulness creates ripples that touch the lives of others, inspiring them to trust God and live faithfully too. It's in the way your perseverance encourages someone else to keep going, the way your joy becomes contagious, and the way your love reflects God's heart to a world in desperate need of hope. Faithfulness doesn't just change your future, it changes your present. It opens your heart to gratitude, your mind to possibility, and your soul to a deeper connection with God. It reminds you that you are part of something so much bigger than yourself, a divine story that spans eternity. And every time you choose faith over fear, trust over doubt, and love over selfishness, you are building something eternal. So what are these heavenly rewards we're promised? They're the things money can't buy and the world can't offer. Peace that surpasses understanding, joy that endures, a sense of purpose that gives life meaning, and an eternal relationship with God that nothing can ever take away. They're the moments when you feel His presence so deeply it brings tears to your eyes. They're the quiet assurances that even in the hardest times, you are never alone. And ultimately, they're the promise of a future where every tear is wiped away, every wound is healed, and every longing is fulfilled in His perfect love. But here's the incredible thing. You don't have to wait for eternity to experience the rewards of faithfulness. They're available to you now in the way faith transforms your heart, your relationships, and your perspective on life. When you live faithfully, you're not just waiting for heaven, you're bringing a piece of heaven into your life and the lives of those around you. So keep going, keep trusting, keep living faithfully, knowing that every step you take is leading you closer to the rewards God has promised. Heaven is watching, cheering you on, and preparing blessings that are far greater than anything you can imagine. Your faithfulness matters, and the rewards, both now and forever, are worth every moment of the journey. Your faith is powerful, far more than you might realize. It's not just something that changes your life, it has the ability to change the lives of those around you. Every time you stand firm in your beliefs, every time you choose hope over fear or love over bitterness, you're sending out a ripple of light that touches the hearts of others in ways you may never fully understand. Your faith encourages, uplifts, and strengthens people, even in ways you can't see. Think about a time when someone's faith inspired you. Maybe it was a friend who went through a tough season but still trusted in God's goodness, or a family member who faced challenges with unshakable peace. Their example of faith, even in the darkest times, likely gave you strength to keep going. Your faith works the same way for others. You may not even realize it, but when you stay grounded in faith, when you keep showing up for the people in your life, you're creating a ripple effect that spreads encouragement. Imagine a friend who's struggling with doubt or fear. When they see you face your own challenges with faith, when they see you pray in the midst of difficulty, choose joy in the middle of trials, or hold on to hope when everything around you feels uncertain, it becomes a beacon of light for them. It tells them, if they can do it, I can too. Your example can ignite something in them, helping them believe that they too can trust in God's goodness, even when the path is hard. There's an incredible power in seeing someone else persevere in faith. It's like a spark that can light a fire. Maybe it's a colleague at work who's feeling overwhelmed, but you share a moment of kindness, a word of encouragement, or simply your own testimony of how God has been faithful in your life. That simple act of sharing your faith can be the very thing they need to feel hope again, to be reminded that God is at work, even in the mundane. Your faith isn't limited to just the people you know intimately. Even strangers can be impacted by the way you live. There are countless stories of people who have had a random encounter with someone whose faith was evident in their actions or words, and that interaction changed their life. It could be a smile, a kind word, or an unexpected act of service that speaks volumes to someone who's struggling. You might never know the full impact of your actions, but that's the beauty of faith. It has a way of touching lives in ways that are beyond our understanding. And it's not just when things are going well that your faith impacts others. Sometimes it's in the hardest moments that your example shines the brightest. When you're walking through a trial, and yet you still choose to praise, still choose to believe, still choose to trust, that's when others are watching, learning, and being inspired. They see that your faith isn't just a fair weather belief, it's real, it's enduring, and it's powerful enough to sustain you in the most challenging of circumstances. Think about how it feels to witness someone who's gone through a tough season come out on the other side, stronger, and more deeply rooted in their faith. It reminds you that you too can overcome. It gives you the courage to press on when you feel like giving up. Your journey of faith can do the same for others. The way you handle hardship, the way you hold on to God, the way you keep your eyes fixed on the bigger picture, it all sends a message that says, you can do this too. The truth is, we were never meant to live our faith in isolation. We were created to encourage one another, to build each other up, and to be a light in a world that desperately needs it. When you live out your faith, you're not just impacting your own life, you're affecting the lives of everyone around you. Your faith can be a lifeline, a source of strength, and a reminder that hope is never too far away. So, next time you feel like your journey of faith is going unnoticed, remember this: your faith is having an impact. It's reaching people in ways you may never fully see. It's encouraging others to keep going, to believe, and to trust in God's promises. Your faith is like a light that shines bright, even when you think it's dim. And as you keep walking forward, you're helping to light the way for others. Keep going, because your faith matters, and it's making a difference in ways you can't even imagine.